Hey everyone! Today I have for you my drugstore foundation routine. Um, in my last video, I forget which one it was, one of my last videos, I asked if you guys would be interested in seeing a foundation routine, and you guys said yes, so here we go. And I figured I would do drugstore first because that seems to be what most people can, afford, and that's what most people have on hand anyways. So, to get started, I have these little hair things to keep my hair out of my face. I got these when I got my circle lenses. They were just like their little free gift that came in it. But really, it's just, Velcro. like the pointy plastic side of Velcro. Just go to your craft store and get like Velcro strips and just use the plastic side. And yes, it looks ridiculous, but it doesn't put kinks in your hair. You know when you sometimes brush your hair and it's all nice and straightened, and afterwards you have that kink right there? Yeah, that keeps that away. I'm going to be just using this mirror. I got this at Michael's. It's just like, I don't know, piece of mirror. It was in their wedding section actually, which is weird. But anywho, I'm going to be showing you two different methods of doing this. One is going to be with a damp sponge, and the other is going to be with a damp buffer brush. Okay, so let's start with primer. I have L'Oreal Studio Secrets Professional Magic Priming Base. This isn't really my favorite primer to use, but it is drugstore. So, a little bit of this goes a long way. Like, that will probably do most of my face. And it's not even like a pea-sized amount. I apologize if, since my camera isn't super awesome quality because I'm using my webcam, I'm sorry that you can't really see major differences, but I don't know. Like, I really can't wait till I can afford a new camera. And with this, you really don't want to use too much because it tends to kind of, I don't know, it moves your makeup around a little bit. Like, I feel like it doesn't make it stay longer like a primer should. It does refine your pores, it does make your skin look nice and smooth, but other than that, it doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot. But I don't know, it makes your skin look a little bit less pore-y. Like, it does refine your pores a bit. I apologize for the color in this video. I'm going to try and fix it in post-production and editing. But right now it's looking kind of blue for some reason. Anywho, and now I start with foundation because it is your base for everything. Oh, also I store my liquid foundations upside down. So I'm going to be doing this half of my face with my buffer brush, this half with my sponge, and this is like a knockoff beauty blender. I haven't had an actual beauty blender because this was, I don't know, like $2 something on at my beauty supply wholesaler store that I go to, but I'm guessing in the States you could probably find them for $5 and under, and in Canada maybe like $8 and under if you're not buying wholesale. Anyway, so this is a damp one, and this is a dry one, so you can see it expands like quite a bit when it's wet. So if it looks like super tiny when it's dry, don't be alarmed because it will expand and it will be easy to work with. And this one's, it's a little bit dirty looking, but that's just because it's stained because I've used it so many times. And I'm using a damp buffer brush. Actually kind of dried a little bit whilst I was preparing for this, so I might go wet it again after I'm done this on my face. So what I do is I pour it on the back of my hand, but I start up with a very little amount, like that. It's not like a glob, it's just spread out and it's that much. Then what I do is dab my sponge in it a bit and then pounce it on my face. Yes, here we go. I apologize, this is my first time filming with like trying to do something in the mirror whilst filming. So yes, I apologize if it's not exactly the best. Anyways, just pounce it. You don't really want to blend because that's going to pick up the powder, or I mean the powder, the product off of your face. And this foundation, oh, I forgot to say, Revlon ColorStay for combination oily skin in 200 nude. I am very yellow toned, and this is like one of the more yellow tones in that color range, and it's still not yellow enough for me. So yeah, I'm gonna have to find a new drugstore foundation. I mean, the formula's great. It's pretty full coverage. It's quite buildable, and it has, I don't know, it's pretty much matte once it dries. So you're just pouncing that on, and you do want to bring it all the way down your neck. And using a damp sponge will prevent it from looking cakey, which is, you know, no one wants cakey looking makeup. So there's that side of foundation done. And you can totally see the difference. It looks more even, smoother, and whatnot, even with just foundation. So I'm gonna go wet my brush again, and I will be right back. I'm back, and my brush is freshly dampened. And to wet my brush, you don't want it sopping wet. Oh, same with the sponge. You want to just run on the water a few times and squeeze out as much of the water as you can so that when you're squeezing it, no more drips come out. Same with this. And I dabbed this one off on a towel, or a dry towel as well. So you're basically going to do the same thing. Pour out just a bit. And now it's all sunk to the bottom because it was standing upright. Oh, there we go. I think I poured out too much this first time, so you really want like a pea-sized amount, I'd say. I apologize if it's loud when I set things down. My microphone seems to really pick things up when I just set them on to the table quietly beside me. Anyways, so you're going to, here's your foundation. You're just going to pick up a little bit. And first, you're going to, I'm going to see if I can do this. Pounce it on your face. And then you can start buffing. And you don't really want to press in too hard while you're buffing because that's going to like micro exfoliate your skin, as Goss makeup artists would say. And it's going to lift up those drier pieces of skin, and the makeup's going to stick under that and make it look not so pretty. So you're going to press really lightly while you're doing this. This color doesn't match me perfectly, like I said, because I am more yellow toned than this is. So sometimes I use my fingers around my hairline just to meld it in even further. And you, again, want to bring it down. I actually prefer using a sponge for this. I think it usually looks smoother. It does micro exfoliate less because you're just pouncing instead of buffing. But yep. Not sure if you'll be able to tell a difference. That's better. There's these glaring bits of sunlight behind me. But yes, your skin will look a lot more even. And I do always suggest getting a full coverage foundation, even if you don't need it, because you can always sheer it out with moisturizer or primer, and it also goes sheer if you use a dampened sponge or brush as opposed to just using a dry brush. Yeah, I'm just trying to cover that sunlight. So that's foundation. Now on to corrector. This is the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear correcting concealer. And I have the ones, there's two different colors that it comes in. It comes in the yellow skin tone and highlight, or green skin tone and highlight. The green is for correcting redness, and the yellow is for correcting purple. But my under eye circles are more blue than purple, so you need a peach or orange toned corrector for that. But I cannot find any peach or orange toned correctors in Drugstore. I have a high-end one which works fantastically. And it's not the Eve Pearl one, actually. It's Graftobian. But this does do the job a bit. I have a separate one of these for use on clients, so that's why I'm using the actual applicator. I probably should have grabbed my concealer brush. I'll be right back. And for my concealer, I like using the Deluxe crease brush from Real Techniques. Sam from Pixie Woo made these. Oh. Also, the buffing brush is the it's called Buffing Brush from Real Techniques. These two are ones that come in a set. There's, I don't know, like 4 in the face set and 5 in the eye set. So then what I like to do is just first pounce it around. I actually don't really like calling it pouncing it just sounds weird to me. I also like to look up into my mirror because that will get rid of any creases under your eyes so the concealer gets into all those spaces. And then, yeah, I use my finger just to dab along the edges of it because I feel like sometimes it can leave a harsh line of the yellow. I also have dark spots like at the corner of my eyes for some reason. Don't know why. I like to just put like a dot, like a small amount. And again, just pounce that one. I love this brush because it acts like kind of like a fingertip. It's about the same size and it's really, really dense. And I don't dampen this one when I'm working with concealer. Okay. So as you can see, that really brightened my under eye and it kind of neutralizes the bluish purple. But, I mean, they're still there because it kind of looks ashy because I do have blue under eye circles rather than purple. If you are a cool skin tone, you tend to have purple under eye circles. If you're warm, you tend to have like blue to greenish under eye circles. And then I'm taking the skin tone from the Physicians Formula Corrector concealers. I'm running out of this one because I normally don't even use this concealer. And then just dabbing it a little bit. And this can go on any other blemishes you have or spots, scarring, anything. I really don't have money right now, which is fantastic. My problem areas tend to be my chin and sometimes around my nose. And again, you just, for this, since there is so little in the bottle right now, I'm just lightly, very, very lightly sweeping it around. Like you barely want your brush to touch your skin because the skin under your eyes is very delicate, and if you tug and pull too much, sorry I had a fuzz, it will give you premature wrinkles. And again, buff around any areas that you put the concealer. Yeah, this concealer really isn't my favorite either because it only has one color in that trio, and it probably, like it definitely doesn't match my skin tone tons, but it's decent once I buff it in. Okay, so that is it for my concealer. last but not least is highlighter. Usually I do this before my foundation actually, but I just forgot. And it's not a huge deal. I'm using the Physicians Formula. I actually really like this one because it's not too shimmery. And you really don't want it to be too in your face, especially, wow, brain blank, especially if it's the summertime and you're probably going to get dewy anyways. And again, using the same concealer brush, just buffing that in. I like to go from my under my brow bone to right along my cheekbone. I might not have pretty high cheekbones to begin with, but this just emphasizes them and makes it look glowy, makes you look nice and fresh and alive. I don't generally like to do highlights, shimmery highlights in my forehead and down my nose like a lot of people do, but I like to do matte contouring highlighting. That won't be in this video. I'll make a different video for contouring and highlighting. For now, I just like, especially in the summertime, I just like this little tiny bit of highlight. In the winter, I might do a little bit stronger of a highlight because my skin tends to be drier and a little bit more dull in the wintertime, as per everyone's does really. And now to set it, I don't want to do too heavy of a powder. I mean, the only drugstore powder I have is this ancient Rimmel Stay Matte. This puff doesn't come with it, by the way. It's not very good, guys. I mean, it's okay if you're just using this to mattify little tiny bits, but it's not that good as setting powder. It ends up looking a little bit too cakey for my liking. This one is one I got from, where was it, Makeup Mania? I suppose I could count as drugstore, even though it's not like super, I've never seen it in a drugstore. It is a Hoi Tong face powder. I think it's a rice. It's called World Girl, is what it's listed as under the site. And it was pretty cheap. I think it was like $5, $6, I think. Hold on, let me check that. Okay, well my internet decided not to work on me. But yeah, so here's the face powder. I believe it's definitely less than $10. It's really strange, actually. It comes in this block, and it's got, like this plastic cover over it. And it's actually, it smells like my grandma's makeup, like, I don't know if it has fragrance in it or not, if that's just the way the powder smells. It's called World Girl Rice Powder, I think, but it's not a rice powder based powder, face powder. Here it is, without the plastic cover on it. It kind of cracked, and it's very messy to use, but it works well. Yeah, no, I really don't like using it because it is so messy. I need to figure out a better way to go about storing that and using it. Anyways, I'm using this fan brush from Crown Brush. I think it's from their Italian Badger series, or... Nope, not Italian Badger, because those handles are red. Anyways, first I like to just press it in. And then buff, or not buff, but like sweep away any excess. And I really like using just a very, very light amount of powder. So you don't really want it to hugely mattify, like you can still see that highlight there. And if you do have under eye creases before you set your concealer, you just want to like pat those out. And really, if you apply setting powder very quickly after doing under eye concealer, you won't get those creases. And then sweep a tiny, tiny bit under your eyes. And you're done. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this was helpful to some of you. If you have any other questions about correcting, concealing, foundation, anything like that, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!